Welcome to the Module 1 Mid-Module Assessment Practice. This is located on page 62 in your notes. Number 1, Steve can run 12.5 miles in 1 1/4 hour. How many miles per hour can he run? So we're going to look at miles per hour. That is going to tell us that miles go on top, divided by hours on the bottom. So it tells us that he ran 12.5 miles in 1 1/4 hours. So if I take my calculator, 12.5 divided by 1 1/4 will give us a total of 10. That's our unit rate. So our equation, remember, is y equals kx. I know my unit rate is 10, so our equation will be y equals 10x. Number 2. A grocery store sells for a 6-pack bottle of water for $3.79, 9-pack for $4.50, and 12-pack for $6.89. Which package costs the least per bottle? So it's going to be cost over bottle. So I'm going to do 3 separate unit rates. I'm going to start with the 6-pack for $3.79. So $3.79 divided by 6 is a very long decimal, but remember we're talking about money, so that would be 63 cents per bottle. I rounded that to 2 decimal places. Then I have a 9-pack for $4.50. So I'm going to do $4.50 divided by 9, which is 50 cents per bottle. And then the 12-pack for $6.89. If I do that, $6.89 divided by 12 is also a long decimal, so round your answer to 2 decimal places. So it's 57 cents per bottle. So that makes this one the cheapest. So the 9-pack costs the least per bottle. All right, number 3. The slowest human has ever run is 2/9 of a mile in 15 minutes. If they run the same rate, what portion of a mile in 1 hour? So remember, that's miles over hours. We know it's 2/9 of a mile, but we don't know how many hours because they give us minutes. Remember to convert minutes to hours. 15 minutes is part of an hour. A whole hour is 60 minutes, so that would be 15 out of 60. When I take my calculator, I divide 2/9 by 15/60, which gives us 8/9. All right, number 4. Remember, I had you change this in class. The table should have different numbers in it. If we're finding the constant of proportionality, I need to do k equals y divided by x. Now, in the chart, remember, this is your x, this is your y. You're going to pick a point. I think the first one's always the easiest to pick. So 38 is your y, 1,000 is your x. When I do 38 divided by 1,000, I get 0.038. All right, next one. Smith family traveled the distance of y miles in x gallons of gas. Here's your equation. What's the constant of proportionality? Now remember, it's y equals kx. K is your constant of proportionality, so your k is 25. Now, what does that mean in the problem? It's a unit rate, so that means that the Smith family will travel 25 miles for every 1 gallon of gas. A unit rate means that 1 is on the bottom, and that's the gallons. All right, next one. Last week, Sarah earned $33 for babysitting 3 hours, and this week it's $55 for 5 hours. What is the constant of proportionality? So K is y over x. You can use any pair. If you use the first one, remember money goes on top. So 33 divided by 3 is 11. Number 7. All right, this one, we are graphing the data. So a couple things to remember. The chart, we have X and Y. The X is your horizontal axis, so we're going to label that. Don't forget to label that on the test. And the Y-axis is your amount earned. 0, 0 is going to be in the corner. So now for hours, we go from 3 to 9. So you have to pick a good scale. I think that we can go by ones and get all the way up to 9. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. It works. Now we have to go all the way up to 135. So if we count by ones, that won't work. Even if we count by fives, I don't think it will work. So I'm going to pick, I believe if we choose 20, we will make it all the way up there. So 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140. There we go. 160. Now you could choose a different scale. Just make sure you're consistent. So the first point is going to be 3 and then 45, 6 and 90, and 9 and 135. Don't forget to use your straight edge. Let me grab mine and connect the points. Don't forget to put an arrow on the end. And now it says, is it proportional or not? Well, it is proportional. Remember, there's 2 reasons why. It is a straight line, and it goes through the origin. So we're going to write the graph forms a straight line. And it goes through the origin. Now, remember, there are 2 points that are always on a graph of a proportional relationship. It's always 0, 0, and then 1K or 1R. So we have to explain what that means, and we're going to use the axes to do that. So 0, 0, X would be on this axis, and Y would be on this axis. So that means that for 0 hours, she earns $0. That's 0, 0 that I'm talking about. Now the point 9, 135, use the axes again. That's talking about 9 hours and $135 earned. So for 9 hours, she earns $135. All right, number 8. All right, here we're given a graph and we're asked to find the constant of proportionality. So to do that, remember K is equal to Y over X. We need a Y value, we need an X value. You can get that from any one of these points. It doesn't matter which one. So say we pick this one. Remember, a point is always X comma Y. So my Y value in this point is 60. My X value is 2. And when I divide that, I get 30. You could have also looked at this pair right here, because remember, the point is 1 comma K. So whenever it's 1, K is the second number. In this case, it's 30. So you could have used that point as well. All right, section 3. This says an elevator ascends or goes up at a rate of 750 feet per minute. So is it proportional? So when we're looking at a table, we have to figure out if the unit rates are all the same. So let's fill in the table first. 1 minute would be 750 feet. 2 minutes would be 1,500 feet. 3 minutes would be 2,250 feet. And 4 would be 3,000. Now, remember, this is X, this is Y. So we're going to do Y divided by X to find the unit rates for each of them. So 750 divided by 1 is 750. 1,500 divided by 2 would be 750. 2250 divided by 3, 750. And 3,000 divided by 4, once again, 750. So since we see all the unit rates are the same, we can say yes, height is proportional to minutes because the unit rates are all the same. All right, number 10. This time we have 2 tables and we're trying to figure out which one is proportional. So remember that it's only proportional if the unit rates are the same. So let's start with Lucas. This would be X and Y. To find the unit rate, we're going to do Y divided by X. So let's start with the first pair. We have 8 divided by 208. When you do this, you're going to end up with this really long decimal. What we could do is change it to a fraction. It might be a little bit prettier, so that would be 1 over 26. You don't have to, but it might be a little bit easier to work with. The next pair is 6 over 156. Remember to change that to a decimal, second PRB, so 126. We have 9 over 234. That also ends up as 1 over 26. All right, let's do Brianna. So K equals Y divided by X. So 6 divided by 168. We can change that to a fraction as well. Let me try that again in my calculator. 1 over 28. We have 4 over 120. We can change that to a fraction to be 1 over 30. And already you can see they are not the same. But let me just finish this for you. And that's 1 over 29. So we can see just from looking at this that Lucas's situation is proportional because all the unit rates are the same. All right, last question, number 11. So in this situation, we have a graph. They give us the graph, and we need to find the constant of proportionality. So remember, K is equal to Y divided by X. Now you can pick any point on this graph. I'm just going to pick the first one. Remember, it's X comma Y. So my Y is 40, and my X is 200. So 40 divided by 100 is 0.2. That's my constant of proportionality. So the equation, remember, it's Y equals KX. So my K is 0.2. My equation would be Y equals 0.2X. All right, part C. This time it says, according to this relationship, how much money did the song bring in from the sales in the first week if the pop star earned 800? So we're going to use that Y equals 0.2X that we just came up with. Since the pop star earned 800, that would be my Y value. And I'm going to solve for X. So divide both sides by 0.2. When you do that, you get X is equal to 4,000. Be sure to use that equation. That will help you get that correct answer. All right, describe what the 0.00 means. Now look up at your graph. You can see your labels. So that means $0 in sales by the online music store. Will result in $0 paid to the pop star. All right, and part E, last one. Which point on the graph represents the amount of money the pop star gets in $1 for money brought in from the sales in the store? Now, this is talking about the point on the graph. So it's got to be an ordered pair. In this case, it's 1 comma K or 1 comma R because it's $1 in money brought in from the sales. That's your X value. So 1 is your X value. Now the unit rate we already found, which was 0.2. So the point on the graph would be $1 and 0.2 or 20 cents earned by the pop star. So make sure that you know this review sheet inside and out, and you should be good to go for that test. Good luck.